Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Beef Brody and we are back with the Land Cruiser. Now if you guys have been following the 80 series for a while, you've seen this thing come from sitting out in the parking lot for the last 10 years to getting it running and driving again. New tires, new front bumper, building the rear bumper and all kinds of stuff. The goose gear system back there, the full Overland build. And then you've seen this truck as it is on the trails. Now I've been using the suspension that's in this for a while, and I'm using the Ironman 4x4 lift kit with the foam cell shocks. And I haven't put this video out because I wanted to put it through its paces. I wanted to test it. I wanted to use it before I give you my thoughts and opinions. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna jump back in time. I'm gonna go through some of the install process and give you some sort of tips and tricks on the 80 series stuff. And then we're gonna jump back here, or we're gonna talk about some of the pros, some of the cons. What do I like? What do I not like? Is it worth it? Etc. So without any further ado, let's install some suspension. Okay, so I went with the Ironman 4x4 2.5-inch lift for this. I think I did the medium duty weight. I will verify that. I'll put it on the screen or something, or I'll put links in the description to what I'm putting on here. Because I have so much weight, I wanted to make at least medium duty springs to handle that weight and to give it enough lift and not end up with a sagging situation like I have now. This also has the foam cell shocks from Ironman 4x4, which is like what they're known for. I've heard nothing but incredible things about it, so I'm excited to see how those do. But because this thing's already sagging so bad, I think we're gonna get, I wanted to measure this. It's gonna be super scientific, not. Let's see, we're roughly, let's just call that 34.5 right here. I bet with the amount of sag this thing has, with all the weight in it, that this thing goes up roughly 4 inches from where it is now, which would be, I'm guessing 2.5 inches or so from stock. So at any rate, that's what I'm anticipating. Let's see what happens. Let's get into it. It looks like at some point there was like a little spacer thing put in these springs, so who knows how bad it would have been sagging without that. But it looks like they did a decent job doing their job. Cut this out. Just zip tied in. Let's see if we can get it out of here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. A couple spider eggs. Okay, so what I've done here is put the vehicle on jack stands. I like lowered it down to the jack stands, put some pressure up on those springs so I can undo the shocks. If you do this while the suspension is drooping and you unbolt those shocks, it'll all come swinging down. You don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbolt the top of the shock. And then when I lift the vehicle back up off of it, the spring will start to come out, the shock will come out of its little hole location, and then we can start to remove these items without things shooting all over the place. So sort of a words of precaution, I guess you would say. So now I'm gonna come up here, and the other reason I wanted to do this down low rather than up in the air is because you have to get to the top of the shock bolt under the hood. So if it was up there, I'd be climbing ladders, all that crap. But with the wheels off, all that stuff, I mean, everything's super accessible right there. So you don't have to do this on a lift. You can do this at home, in your garage, whatever. Time to swap this stuff out. Where's my impact gun? One of the other things I did sort of off camera in between stuff, because during the day when I'm over here in my office, I get to chip away at like 30 minutes worth of stuff every once in a while. So I added the SLE off-road second battery kit. Really, this is just the 70 series battery tray because the battery was located on this side then. And it's like I had to trim a few little things, but ultimately this battery tray fits right in here. But the SLE off-road kit comes with this relocation bracket so you can keep your washer bottle. And it worked out really well, except for now it's kind of sort of in my way, but we're gonna work around it. All right, now I'm gonna show you as I go up, this stuff should start to come apart. Well, this is disappointing. I was just opening up all the stuff and the springs and all that, and this, unfortunately, was not a foam cell shock in here. It was a control arm. And in all 4 boxes are control arms, which isn't gonna help with my suspension situation as it is currently. I really need the shocks to go with the springs to get the height. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the springs in anyways and hope for the best that the shocks have the length and the height that I need. Otherwise, this thing's sitting dead in the water. However, I will say, Ironman 4x4's customer service has been great. They also sent me a roof rack. This one was not their fault at all, but I got a roof rack here for it, and it was damaged. It was like run over by a forklift. There's a huge, it's like destroyed. So I'm still working on sorting that one out. But they've been a great company to deal with and work with on some of this stuff. But now I've got to get through this one today, and I'm really kills this one. But that's cars for you, right? That's what you got to do. So I'm gonna jump on here. I'm gonna send them a quick email and see if I can't figure out a solution before I put this thing all back together. All right, we're just gonna roll with it. So what I'm doing is just gonna put the springs in, reuse the old shocks for now until I get an answer, because I can't leave this thing on the lift for that long. These new springs aren't much taller, but they're certainly beefier, thicker springs. So I certainly am gonna have to compress the new ones quite a bit more to get them in than the old ones. But all in all, overall height isn't all that bad. It's just gonna support that weight a lot better. All right, these springs are tight, and I didn't really like how unstable it felt while I was using the transmission jack trying to pick up the rear diff to get the lower bolt holes lined up in the shocks. So I'm gonna let it down. We're gonna put jack stands under the drum here just to get enough pressure on it to get these bolts in, and we'll see how it lines up. Boom, I'm in. Now we just need to put the rear wheels on and see how much lift we actually end up with. I think it's gonna be taller than I thought. It's gonna be pretty hefty size. I'm kind of excited to see. Oh man, this thing's a bit taller. I don't know if you can see from there. I'll take it outside and get a shot of it in a second. Let's measure it and see what it actually came to. If you remember before, 34.5. I suspected, wow, an extra 4 inches. We're just about 38. You can see that. Wow, so 3.5 inches taller than it was before with all the extra weight on it. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, let's pull it outside. I want to see how it drives with these springs and the original shocks, or OEM style shock. Nothing fancy. I hope it's not worse than it was, because I really enjoyed the way it rode before with the original suspension. It was very plush and cushy, and it just felt nice. So hopefully I still have some decent ride quality while getting the height out of it for all the extra weight. So after that little shock snafu, Ironman 4x4 was able to get me the shocks quickly with no problem, no questions asked. I was able to get them installed and hit the road just in time for our SCAR trip.
You know, this may not have been a great idea. I really hope there's an alternative way out of here. Kind of sideways, but we should be alright.
This is getting exciting now, Cameron.
So scared. I'm literally not doing it.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SCAR.
Here's some of my thoughts. The pros. It's extremely comfortable. It gives you all kinds of confidence. It rides just as good, if not better, than the stock suspension. I think the 80 series is known for how comfortable the ride is, and this no exception and no change here with the Ironman 4x4. Absolute breeze. Customer service was incredible. Easy install. Everything fit just like it was supposed to. Now the cons. Before I get into the cons, let me tell you about the Land Cruiser I just bought. I bought a totaled 100 series. We're going to be doing a full build on this one as well. It got smashed in the front pretty good, but we're going to bring this one back from the dead and do a full build on that. So make sure you subscribe to see that series. Now the cons. The list of cons is pretty short if I'm being completely honest. The Ironman suspension with the foam cell shocks is awesome. The only sort of downside I have is that I wish I would have bought the heavy duty springs, and that's really just due to the amount of weight that I ended up putting in this vehicle, sort of not knowing that I was going to add that much weight to it, to be completely honest. So that's something I think you should keep in mind. If you're going to go like full Overland build like I did with a rack and the rooftop tent and the kitchen system and, you know, jerry cans and water cans and tire carriers, all this stuff sort of hanging off the back and on the roof of it, definitely go with the heavy duty springs to support all that weight. If you're going to be more everyday driver, no rooftop tent, that kind of thing, medium duty springs I think is going to be just fine. All in all, super happy with it. I'm going to be using it again on the 100 series with a lot of other things as well. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.